Whew, let's get down to business with Chapter 3, shall we?
I am Boba Fett.
How do you do, G-Pod crew? It's your Naughty Buddy Putty here. And today we're talking about Chapter 3 of the Book of Boba Fett called The Streets of Mos Espa. Now, of course, this is going to be a full breakdown, so let's not really hesitate. These shows have been pretty awesome so far, so let's just get into it. Now, the first Easter egg we have here is the BT-16 perimeter droid. Now, this is commonly shown in the Jabba Palace, and it actually is a robot that contains the brain of a Bomar monk. Now, this first appeared in Star Wars Return of the Jedi, and you can actually see that this bulbous circle you see right here is where the brain juices, or however you want to call it, contained. So this is actually not a real spider, this is a droid. And you'll see that it actually can detach and use the capsule with these little hooks here. And it actually is part of Jabba's palace, so that's why you see it here, but it serves no purpose but just to contain something and walk around. It's nothing that huge, but it is a cool thing. Now, at this point in the episode, 88 here is explaining to Boba about how Jabba's territories have been taken over by 3 species. The first species are called the Trandoshians, and the most famous one of the Trandoshians would be Bossk. Bossk was actually a bounty hunter hired by Darth Vader, just like Boba Fett, and was in The Empire Strikes Back. Of course, he never found Han Solo, Boba did, but he did first appear in that movie. The next one he mentions is the Aqualish. Now, the first Aqualish was Ponda Baba from actually A New Hope. If you remember, Ponda Baba was the one that got his arm cut off by Obi-Wan Kenobi when he was approaching Luke, and was not basically distancing himself and was causing problems. So this would be the Aqualish, and this would be the most famous one, or at least the one most people would know. Next, we have the Klatooinians. Now, the Klatooinians are way less known than the other 2 species. And the reason I state that is because the only times they were seen were actually in Return of the Jedi. And they were actually slaves to Jabba. And that would be Barada and Cathaba. They both appear in that movie very briefly as basically background slaves that work for Jabba the Hutt. And apparently their species, as well as the Aqualish, and of course Bossk species, all own the territories in Jabba's territory, or former Jabba's territory. So the reason that 88 is bringing this up to Boba Fett is because they're the ones he must, I guess, negotiate with in order for him to take those territories, maybe for his protection. Not sure how this is going to go, but I definitely like that since Jabba's dead, everyone decided to take their own territories. Pretty smart when it comes to any species living on a planet. Boy, things have crossed paths. Peli Motto is right here. Now, if you don't remember who Peli Motto is, she's here with her pit droids. And if you remember, she was actually the one that actually fixed Mando's Razor Crest and also watched over Grogu, if you remember her from Mandalorian. So, nice little callback that she crossed paths kind of with Boba Fett without even actually knowing she crossed paths with Boba Fett. But nice little callback to the Mandalorian. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Rancor. Now, here's the thing. If you're watching Book of Boba Fett and you've never really watched a Star Wars movie or just don't have any memory of what a Rancor is, well, let me refresh your memory. If you remember, in Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi, Luke got tricked into stepping on a location and falling into the Rancor where the Wookiee is right now. This is the Rancor that Luke Skywalker had to face. Well, that Rancor got killed by the door adjacent above him right now that you see in this picture when Luke went behind him and then dropped the door on him and killed him. So the Rancor pit doesn't have a Rancor. Maybe it does now. The twins brought him a Rancor that he could put in his own pit. Now, whether this is a trick, of course it's a trick. It's the Hutts. Why wouldn't it be a trick? but yet to be seen. Could Boba Fett have his own Rancor for his own Rancor pit? That would be badass. Is that motherfucker Danny Trejo? Does Danny Trejo come with the Rancor? Is Danny Trejo going to be part of the Boba Fett series? Please tell me he comes with it. Understand, if you're watching this and you're like, well, duh, didn't you watch the whole episode? I record during me watching the episode. So I literally got the picture of the Rancor, did all that, recorded it, and then went back to watching the episode, and I did not realize the guy standing beside the Rancor is Danny Trejo. Machete himself. If you don't know who Danny Trejo is, then you need to become more familiar with him and become a movie buff and freak out as much as I'm freaking out right now. Danny Trejo, part of Star Wars. I can die happy now. Okay, I don't really want to die, but it's just badass. Hey, Boba, didn't you say you needed a protocol droid? You know, like C-3PO? There's one right there. And there you guys have it. That is Chapter 3 of the Book of Boba Fett. And it's ending quite nicely, or this episode, I should say, is ending quite nicely. Yeah, there's definitely something going on, and I do like the whole Rancor situation with Danny Trejo. It sounds like he's going to be a regular character, and him being a Rancor, like, mangler trainer is freaking amazing. Like, he's badass enough to be able to deal with the Rancor. Like, I couldn't think of anybody else to be someone that can tame Rancors. Freaking awesome. And this episode just in general is awesome. The callback to Mandalorian and all just, in general, all the stuff they did with this episode was amazing. So I can't wait to see what Chapter 4 has to hold for us. And also, if you're watching this, I am going to be doing tomorrow I'm going to be doing these 3 episodes that they're premiering for Peacemaker, and I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. So that being said, I'll see you guys in the next episode of the Book of Boba Fett in Chapter 4, whatever it may be named. Anyway, until next time, peace.